What's up, everyone? My name is Juan Leja, and I'm a coach here at Onnit Gym. Today, I'm going to be taking you through a glute workout that Gabby Puentes is going to be demonstrating. I promise you, these exercises will build you a bigger, better butt. Some of the benefits of glute training are not just looking good, but you can also jump higher, run faster, and lift more weight. These exercises will not only help you perform good, but they'll also make you look good. Now I'm going to be taking you through 2 exercises to help you warm up and get ready for your glute workout. All right, we're gonna take you through a movement to open up those hips so you're able to thrust that weight to engage those glutes. What Gabby's gonna be doing here, she's gonna get on one knee. She got this knee in line here in a straight line. She's gonna tuck her hips. As she tucks her hips, she's gonna lean forward, opening up this hip here. What I don't wanna see here though is I don't want her to lean back, far back right here. I want her to keep nice and engaged, opening up that hip. Then she's gonna lean back, then drive it forward for 5 to 10 reps on each side. Really open it up. There you go. So as you see here, just opening up that hip, leaning forward. After each rep, she's able to get deeper and deeper because that means it's opening up. As you see here, Gabby's leaning forward and back. You wanna make sure here that you're keeping your heel down as you lean forward. One of the things that people tend to do in this position, as you come forward, that heel starts to come up. Okay, I want you to make sure that you drill it to the ground. Keep that big toe and small toe like you have a tripod in that foot to make sure that you're getting the best out of this stretch. For this exercise, you're gonna be doing 2 to 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps on each side. All right, this next exercise, we're gonna do a banded lateral walk. I like to place the band right at the thickest part of the calf. You can either place it at your ankles or above the knees. It all depends on you. People have different ways that they activate the glutes, the way they're able to connect that mind-body connection. All up to you, wherever you get the most engagement. I like to put it at the ankles. Some people like to have it above the knees. It all works great. As long as you're feeling that those glutes activated, that's what I'm looking for. So as you see here, Gabby has placed that band at the thickest part of her calves. Okay, she's gonna have her feet placed about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider, and then I want her to hinge at the hips slightly, slight bend at the knees, and then she's gonna keep a nice neutral spine. What she's gonna be doing here, she's gonna be walking laterally. So she's gonna be leading with that heel, not with the toes. As you see here, there's always tension on this band. From here, I want you to make sure that your feet don't come too close together because then that band loses tension. The whole goal of this is to keep that tension on the band so you're able to activate those glutes. I want you to do this for 3 sets for 5 to 10 yards in each direction. Make sure that you keep that position and that integrity the whole time. Now I'm gonna be taking you through 4 bodyweight exercises to train your glutes. The first movement we're gonna be doing is a hip thrust. We have a bench here for Gabby. She's gonna make sure that she sets herself up, having her upper back on that bench, making sure that those heels are in line with those knees here, nice and tucked. What she wants to do here, keep a nice neutral spine. Hips are tucked in here. I'm gonna have her drive up through those heels, driving those hips up to the ceiling. As she's coming up, you wanna make sure that that head leans back as well. I don't want her to be, you can have a little bit of a curve of the spine, but not over excessive, and I don't want her to drop her chin too far back like this, all right? I want her to make sure that she has that integrity, everything's engaged from top to bottom, driving through those heels, squeezing those glutes. I like to tell people, imagine like you're turning your glutes inside, kind of squeezing your butt in like you're holding it for number 2, all right? So make sure you get that good squeeze. Extension all the way to the top. Some people have the mobility and kind of the activation of being able to drive a little bit higher. That's perfectly fine as long as you're not overarching your lower back. So Gabby's gonna demonstrate a few reps here. For this exercise, I want you to do anywhere between 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps. The goal is not to rush through these reps. I want you to make sure that as you're coming down, you're fully engaged, and then at the top, even more engagement here, squeezing with that extension. Grab those glutes, tighten them up, drive those heels through the ground, and then knock out those reps. Like I said, it's 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Once you got used to that, you can kind of pick up the volume since this is body weight. You can do those kind of, 4 by 25, where you're doing 100 reps for this workout. The next exercise that we're gonna be doing is gonna be a banded glute bridge. This exercise is gonna be done on the ground. So Gabby's gonna throw this band on. I want her to place it above the knees, all right? The placement of the band, same thing as the lateral walks. It can be on the calf area, the ankles, whatever. But for this, since it's a workout, I want to make sure that there's a little bit more tension, so there's a little bit more drive with her knees driving out and her being able to squeeze. So I want a little bit more of a challenge. So I have her place it right above the knees. I want her to lay down on her back. I want her to tuck those heels in a little bit, just at 90 degrees, not too far back where the quads are getting too much of a stretch, because the focus is those glutes and hamstrings. When she's here, I want her to make sure that she's driving those heels through the ground and then driving those hips up to the ceiling. All right, let's drive those up, Gabby. As she's doing this, I want her to actively keep those knees apart and squeeze those glutes at the top. So extending at the top, making sure that she's not overextending though, okay? And then she's gonna drop down just the way she came up. All the way up, drive, squeeze. Give me a few reps here, Gabby. As you see, majority of the work here is through that heel, through those glutes, making sure she's squeezing. Like I said on the hip thrust, make sure that you're turning those glutes inside to get that full squeeze at the top. Some of the differences here is that you're focusing more on glutes here. If you kick those legs too far out, you're gonna get a little bit more hamstring engagement. If they're too far tucked in, you're gonna get a little bit more quad stretch. So just keep that in mind, split the difference, keep it in that 90 degrees, because this is a glute workout, okay? So make sure that that's what we're focusing on. For this workout, we're gonna be doing here anywhere between 3 to 5 sets. I like to go a little bit higher volume here, somewhere between 12 to 15 reps. Once you get used to that, you can go up to those 25 reps. This is a body weight workout. This is something you can do in a hotel room or when you're traveling on the beach or whatever, so you get that nice booty pump for your bikini. So make sure to hit this workout. I promise you, those glutes will look good. All right, the next exercise we're gonna be doing a banded kickback. Gabby has that band right above the knees to provide a little bit more tension. She's gonna have something to hold on here. So staying about about a foot away from that, maybe 2 feet. Okay, she's gonna slightly lean forward, keeping a nice neutral spine, slight bend in that front leg, okay? And then she's gonna kick back this leg here, trying to keep that leg pretty straight. Okay, as she's coming up, she's want to make sure that she squeezes this glute in that top position, okay? She's gonna bring it back down with control. Back up. Remember, she's staying on the ball of the foot, so there's constant tension, so she doesn't lose it, okay? So for this movement, I like to do same thing, 3 to 5 sets. I like to go a little bit higher volume here, somewhere between that 12 to 25 range, because this is a good way to kind of just knock out reps. But if you be very intentional, 8 reps are plenty. Sometimes you don't feel focused and alert in the gym, and your workout can suffer as a result. New Alpha Brain pre-workout was designed specifically for athletes and gym goers and supports focus, power, and endurance. It's the ultimate way to charge up your mind and body. Use the coupon code GETONNIT to get 10% on Alpha Brain pre-workout at onnit.com. Now let's get back to the workout video. This next exercise is a sumo pulsing squat. What I'm gonna have Gabby do is go in a more of a wide stance, kind of like your sumo wrestlers. She's obviously not a sumo body type, but go a little bit wider here. I want you to slightly turn your toes out, but don't duck them out, okay? Just very slightly, okay? Maybe a little bit less, right there. Okay, what she's gonna be doing here, she's gonna be squatting down to that bottom position. So she's gonna drop down, driving those knees out as she squats. Then she's gonna pulse up, and then she's gonna drop down, butt all the way down, and then all the way up, okay? So she's gonna be knocking this out. This one's one of those movements where you're working different ranges. In that bottom position, she's getting more glute activation, more glute work. At the top range, she's able to also work a little bit more quads. But at the top position, what I like to cue people is squeeze those glutes at the top. So squeeze there, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. There you go. Now come down. Do that pulse. Come up, and I want you to squeeze there. So you see that? She's getting work on both ends, the bottom position, top position. This is why I like the pulsing sumo squat, okay? Key points here is when you're going down, I like to drive those knees out. So squat down, drive those knees out. I want you to feel that stretch right where that hamstring and glute meet, all right? And then as she comes up, keep that tension, drive up, and down and up. Squeeze those glutes, all right? I like to do this exercise kind of, either a finisher. This is where you want to kind of like kill the reps here. Obviously, going down halfway and then all the way up counts as 1 rep. Knocking out somewhere between 10 reps to 20 reps is plenty, anywhere between 3 to 5 sets. All right, on this pulsing squat, you wanna make sure that you kind of split the difference so you're not coming up all the way. You're making sure that there's constant tension on those glutes. So she's going right about, I would say, what was that, 3/4 or so? And then drop down and then all the way up. As she comes all the way up, she's squeezing those glutes. One of the biggest things is sometimes people get confused. They go just down and then they come all the way up, and they're basically maybe doing about 1 inch or 2 at that lockout position difference. So make sure that you drop down. There's constant tension on the glutes when you're doing that half rep, and then come up all the way up when you wrap up that rep. I wanted to clear up a misconception about the glute bridge and the hip thrust. A lot of times in training I get asked, why are we doing the same movement back to back? Well, there's a difference. On the hip thrust, you're doing more range of motion. You're able to drive more explosion through those hips. One other thing is too, when you're dropping down that bottom position, those quads are getting a little bit more work than you would on that glute bridge, because on the glute bridge, you shorten that range and it's more isolated to the glutes. Okay, so that's one of the key differences. Obviously, the setup is also the difference. You need a bench for the hip thrust, and on the ground, you're doing your glute bridge. Similar, but different. One's more isolated, one gives you more range.